find the wind, um, how to find it on land, on water, and then the advantages and disadvantages of the different ways you would find it. So, can you think of any ways that you can find wind on land?
On land, you could look at a flag.
Yeah, that's good. Anything else?
I guess trees, you could look at trees.
Okay. Can you think of anything else?
Maybe if you were close to a chimney, you could see smoke coming out of the chimney.
Yeah, that's perfect. What about on water?
On water, I guess the easiest thing is just to look at the waves.
Okay. What about in your boat? Can you think of anything that there might be that you could use on your boat?
Oh, like maybe that little pointy thing on top of the mast.
Yeah, the wind indicator. Anything else?
I had a boat one time that had two little strings on the front sail.
Okay, so those are the telltales. What they do is they are going to help you adjust your trim, but they're not as important to finding the wind. So that's what you're going to use to, like, once you found it and you're already sailing. So, what are some advantages to using stuff on the land to help you find the wind?
Well, I guess if you were sailing a little dinghy close to shore, you'd want to know, you'd want to look at the trees close to shore, the flags close to shore, and see if there's gusts coming or something.
Yeah, perfect. What about some disadvantages to it?
I guess sometimes I remember the wind just because it looked one way on the land, it wasn't the same way out on the water.
Yeah, exactly. So there might be other things affecting what it's going to look like on land. For example, you said in a tree. There might be an animal or something in there, or a tree, just the way the limbs are shaped and the way that the leaves are shaped is just not going to move as natural as like a flag, and it's not going to give you a good representation of how or what directions the wind is blowing. It will tell you how much wind there is, but you're not going to get proper direction out of it. Now, you said that you'd use the waves to help you tell the direction. How would you do that? Just the way that they were going?
Yeah, sometimes if you look at, I guess, the big waves to tell generally what way the wind is blowing from. But then I noticed sometimes you can see little ripples on the water.
Okay, so the ripples on the water you're seeing is gusts of wind. So if there's small ripples in one area and it's flat in another, there's going to be more wind above the ripples, so you're probably going to want to go sail over there. But the waves that you're seeing to help you find out which direction the wind's coming from, those might not be the best things to use because, for example, here on the St. Lawrence, the direction that the current's going is going to affect the way that the waves are. So if the current's going one way and the waves are going the same way, or and the wind's going the same way, you're not going to really get many waves. It's just going to be a flatter water. So that won't really tell you which direction the wind's coming from. But if the wind's going the other direction, the waves will come up. So the waves aren't really the best thing to use to tell the direction when you're sailing, especially if you're racing and you want to find the fastest and most accurate way to your next mark around it. Any other disadvantages that you could think of some of the indicators that we thought of?
Well, the strings on the front, I still can't figure those out because they seem to blow all over the place and I don't know what they're used for.
So they're just show you how they work here. If the wind is blowing evenly on both sides of the sail, then the strings they'll both like fly evenly. But if it's only coming from one way, one string will be up and the other string will just hang down. Same with the other way around. So that's just going to help you to find how much you should pull in or let out your sail to get the best wind flow on it. But it's not really going to tell you which direction the wind's coming from. So you're not going to want to use these over your wind indicator or wind arrow on your boat to find the wind.
Do those work when you're sailing downwind too, or just upwind?
They do not work when you're sailing downwind, just upwind.
Oh.
So when you're going downwind, they're just going to flap around all over, and it's going to be no use. So why don't we just go over what we talked about? So what wind indicators are there on the land that you can use, and which wind indicators would be the best to use on land?
Well, I think on land, I mean, you got the leaves and you got the flags, and then, you know, chimney smoke. I think the best one would probably be the chimney smoke, because it's kind of out there all on its own.
Yeah.
The leaves might not be that good because, like you said, anything could make those blow different. And
Yeah.
you can't really tell direction.
And also what might affect the leaves and some other stuff closer to water is land breeze and sea breeze. And that's where the air above the water or the land is warmer than the air above the other. So the air is going to move up, and then the air over the colder one of the two is going to flow in, and it's going to create a wind circulation that is going to take away from the flags near the land. So it will either make them blow towards or away from the land.
Is that why sometimes when you're at home and it looks like there's no wind, and you go to the marina, there's wind right by the water?
Yeah, that's exactly why. So, what about, what are some things that you might use on the water to help you find?
Well, on the water, I guess it depends if you're sailing a big boat, like a keel boat, or if you're sailing a dinghy. I know I've had both, so when I was on my big boat, I used to always look at the wind indicator on the top of the mast.
Yeah.
But I remember on my little dinghy, I was looking for the ripples on the water all the time, chasing ripples.
Okay. So, do you remember why we might not want to use the ripples to help you find the wind direction?
That's right, because they don't help you with direction, they just help you tell when it's gusty.
Yeah. And then the wind indicator works perfect for big boat, and you can use those on small boats too, actually. What, can you think of anything else that we might not want to use to help for wind direction when we're on the water? The two telltales?
Oh, that's right. The telltales you said are for trim, they're not for direction.
Yeah, exactly. That's about it.